a lot of updates, by the way, with the Zoom. So a lot of things that I don't know about Zoom, and now it's getting better now. Okay, so I can see some chat, people type in the chat. Good, good. The sound is a little small. All right, is that true? Everyone, is my voice a bit small? Let me see if I can adjust that. All right, let me add that. All right, I'm increasing my volume right now. Is that too loud? It's clear? Okay, good. All right, good. Good, good. Clear enough? Okay, nice. All right. So I can start to see some people coming in. Let's give another 50 minutes because you guys are early. So well done, you guys are coming in early today. And you guys are going to get a secret bonus. All right, a secret bonus for people who come in early. As I promised, this bonus has never been shared anywhere. I promise you, this is a very new bonus that I created, that I use personally myself to generate more than $1 million in USD with my prospecting pipeline. Okay, so this bonus is very exciting bonus. Nobody has seen this before, and you guys here, some of you are here, are going to get it directly. All right, so let me drop in the chat to start our conversation. I want you to make copy of this file. Okay, so I dropped the link in the chat. Save this link, put it on your notepad and save it or bookmark it, because it's going to be gone very soon from the chat. All right, so save the link. When you're done, save it, type 7. Type 7 in the chat. I know that you can open it, you can save it. All right, let me know when you're done. Open the link and you can save the link. What did I miss? Yes, you missed a lot of stuff. So we just get started basically, and I just shared a secret bonus that nobody has seen it before. And I promise you, when I say nobody, it's really nobody, because it's very new and not many people actually seen this bonus before. So I just drop it in the chat right now. Open it if you want to open it, and you can see this is the exact pipeline that I use. Since 2 years ago until today, I'm using this pipeline. This is called follow-up system template. Yes, so you can download it or you can copy, right? So you can click file, make a copy, or you can download it. All right, so let me share my screen to kind of show you how exactly it works. All right, let me share my screen. Right, can you see it? Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, yes? Okay, good. So if you already opened the link, right? This link, let me drop the link again in the chat. This link is open up, and it is about pipeline. This is the exact template that I use to follow up with my leads, to measure and track all the stuff that I have. Of course, I delete some of the data that is personal to me. But what you can do, you click file here and click make a copy. Then you can name it and save it to your own drive. Okay, again, so you can click file on the top left here, click make a copy, and you can name it as you want to your drive. Okay? And I'll explain to you how to use this. Okay? Now, if you see, there are a couple tabs at the bottom, right? There's cold outreach, there's book calls, pipeline follow-up, and activity tracker. You can arrange this as you want, but normally how I do it is I start from left to right. So I start my day with cold outreach, and then I just put in the name of people that I am reaching out to, and I put the link, if I have the CRM link to them, and the email, phone number. If you have CRM that's tracking all of this, you don't really have to put it. But for some people that you don't have CRM, and you still do it manually, you can put it here. Put in the country if you work internationally. If not, you can put in location. And where is it from? The source, Facebook, Google, or even opt-in lead magnet, right? What kind of things that you have, the source. And then when is your first contact, when is your next contact? This is always update every day. And you can see the message read, if they responded or not, and you can follow up with them. The reply date, the book date, and the notes. All right, there's the book calls here, the same. After you do cold outreach, when you book them, then you move it here, right? You create another record here. You write the name, the email, location, write this example, how I do it. And then you put your improvement. When you do the call, the sales meeting with these people, and how is the feedback that you give to yourself, right? And I will teach you how that you can give feedback to the most efficient way that you can do, right? And then there's a pipeline follow-up where you can follow up with people. You can put in their name here. You can put in the same information, and you put the difference is their status, right? How that you can nurture them. You move them from initial contact, and then you set up appointment, engage, and then you nurture them if they're not ready yet, if waiting for payment, or if they ghosted for some reason, they're disqualified. You change this, right? And then again, the same thing, last contacted, next contacted, and then you have expected close date. If you know when that they are going to close, what are the close things, right? The product, and you put in the notes. All right, so you can edit this, you can download it, you can do as you want, right? But you need to start tracking and measure it, okay? And then there is activity tracker. This is going to be very interesting because you will see your activity every day, okay? So you will have 50 cold calls, 20 DMs, connected calls, how many email, and then how many referral that you can ask. Now, these are daily goal numbers that you want to put in. So every day you will look into this, and you will see how many that you have done. So if today, let's say I have done 54, it means it's more than my goal, right? If it's not, then maybe I need to mark it as red because it's low activity, right? So you can measure activity daily, every day. You measure it because everything that you can measure, you can improve it, right? So make sure that you start tracking these metrics. Use this template. Again, if you haven't have the link yet, I drop it in the chat right now. So you can click file, make a copy. You can make a copy of this, or you can download it. Do it offline, right? Either way. All right, so this is the bonus for you guys who come in early today and grab it, okay? How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel today? Oh, I'm so excited having this workshop today. How do you guys feel? Type in the chat. How do you guys feel? Type in the chat. All right, very happy, excited, amazing, good, good. All right. Okay, I can see a lot of people start joining in. Good. All right, we'll start in the next 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you a lot of hidden values that not many people know about this, right? And this is going to be very exciting because this is the exact system, the exact strategy that I have used myself to generate more than 3 million USD. So I've been working with a lot of US companies. I'll share it to you in a second. But a lot of good stuff that we have been implementing, I've been doing it in Malaysia, in Singapore, and it's generating quite good result that I will share with you. All right. So this is going to be focusing everything in the outbound, in the prospecting, right? How that you can outreach to other people and how that you can start making appointments, making sales meetings to generate your pipeline. Okay, so type in the chat where you come from. I want to know where you come from, where you're located right now. What time is it for you? Type in the chat. Where are you and what time is it for you? All right, all right. Okay. All right, I can start to see some people typing in. Okay, Philippines, South Africa, UK, Vietnam, Jakarta, all right, Canada, Malaysia, okay. Okay, good. So many of us are from Southeast Asia, right? But we also see people globally from Canada, from UK. So it's very exciting. Very exciting. It's an international workshop. It's a global workshop today that we're running. Okay, so I want you guys to start by promising something to yourself, that you're going to take this workshop that is going to be about 2 hours or 3 hours, attend it fully. Because how many times actually that you fully completed something and you're implementing something? If you have done it multiple times, this is your next one. So you need to promise yourself that you'll make the best out of it. And if you haven't done it yet, make it your first. Make it your first. Why? Because everything in life that I learned from my mentors and from myself is that if you can complete from the beginning until the end of it, and you implement, you take action and do it as it is, you get more than what you learn. You get something that you never thought that you can do before. Okay? So it's so critical and it's so crucial how that you can start to make result. Because just learning, you can go to any kind of YouTube videos and start learning stuff, right? But if you not learning and implementing, that is not going to help you, right? So I want you to start implementing today, okay? So a little bit of housekeeping, and you can see in the question and answer, so Q&A session at the bottom, there's a button of Q&A, right? I want you to type in your questions, right? Any question. Whenever I go through the slides, I go through explaining some things that you have some question about it, just type in there. Type in there. Don't wait until the end of this, because I want you to start putting in your questions and stack it up. Stack it up. Because at the end of it, I'll have some Q&A session where I will stay until the questions are answered. Majority of questions will be answered. Okay? So put in your Q&A, your question there in the open, right? And then type in your question there so everyone can see it as well. Okay? And when you are typing your chat, make sure that you put in to everyone. Don't just send it to hosts and panelists, but send it to everyone. All right. Okay, I can start to see some people coming in. All right. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, please type 1 in the chat. Type 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly. Okay, just now some people say my voice a bit too low. I don't know if right now my voice is a bit too loud because I just increased the volume of my microphone. Okay, so if it's good, then we will start in 2 minutes. We'll start in 2 minutes. All right, if you are here because you haven't, and if you come in a bit later just now and you haven't claimed the bonus, let me drop in the chat. This is the Google Sheet, the exact pipeline sheet that I've been using since 2 years ago until now when I'm doing my prospecting. So you guys can open it, make a copy or download it, and you can start filling that in. Because I promise you, this Google Sheet has made me more than $3 million in sales. And if you just diligently using this every day, when you wake up, when you end your day, when you're done working, you fill this in. And you track everything that you do. All the names, the people that you reach out. It's very comprehensive. And it's making you easier to know who that you should prioritize, who you should reach out. All right? So I dropped the link on the chat already. Make a copy of it. If you're done, Then we'll rock and roll. We'll start the class today. All right. Welcome, welcome. I can see some people coming in. All right. Okay. Okay, welcome. If you just come in here, this is the prospecting workshop, right? The secret where I show how I did my prospecting and how that you can do the same. All right. So let me start sharing my screen so you guys can see my slides. Again, if you guys have some questions about anything when I share my screen, when I share my materials, you guys can come in and put your question in the Q&A button. At the bottom of the Zoom, right, you will see a Q&A there. Put in your question. Okay? All right. Who is excited? Who is ready for today? All right. Put in the chat if you're ready for today, if you're very excited for today's workshop. Put yes in the chat. Put yes in the chat if you're ready. If you're excited as I am, I'm very excited to share with you guys a lot of stuff that I want to share today. I'm start sharing my screen, so let me know if you can see it clearly. If you can see my screen clearly, type 7 in the chat. Type 7 in the chat if you can see my screen clearly. All right. Okay, I can start people typing 7. Good. Good. Okay, so let's start today with a lot of secrets. Okay, I want to start today with a lot of secrets. That this is the exact system that I use myself to generate all the amount that you can see, more than $3 million and counting, just from the outreach. Just from the outreach. Okay, so it's not counting from the inbound stuff. It's not counting from the marketing stuff that getting leads in. No, it's all from the outreach, that you reach out to people, to strangers, that you are making connections, building trust, and all of those stack skills that you do. All right. So before I start, actually, I'm very curious to know where are you from. Type in the chat. If you're just joining in, type in the chat. Where are you from and what time is it for you? I can see some people start typing. All right. I can see a lot of people. Okay. If you haven't typed in yet, let me know what time is it for you and where you are at right now. Okay, some of you are morning, some of you are noontime, all right, some of you are evening. For me, myself, I'm in Malaysia, right? So it's 8 p.m. right now for me, all right, okay? So Indonesia, all right? I born in Bandung, right? It's in Indonesia, but I'm staying for good right now in Malaysia, in Johor Bahru. All right, good. And it is very weird question that I want to ask as well. How many of you know me? How many of you know me, what I do, what I teach, and who am I exactly? How many of you know me? How many of you know me before? All right, I see you, Lucas. Yeah, I see you, Lucas. Yes, I see you, Peter. Okay. All right, good. We have 2 people know me. All right. So a lot of people actually know me from 5 or 6 years ago, probably. And that's where my journey began, right, in the sales. And I haven't been really super excited to just share what I do back then. But now I realize that it is a big shift in the market, right? Things that working last time, it is not that super crazy right now. There's not something that is working right now. So if you just see me today, I will show you exactly what I do. I will show you exactly my process so you can follow that and you can prove it if that works for you. I don't want you to just take it. I don't want you to just trust it. I want you to prove it. And the only way you can prove it is by implementing what I teach. The only way you can prove what I say is by implementing what I teach. So take action, pay full attention, and do it. All right? Ready? All right, if you're ready, type 7 in the chat. Let's go. If you're ready, type 7 in the chat. Type 7 if you're ready. Let's get started today. All right? I want to make this as interactive as possible because if you are not interactive, that means I'm just talking to my keyboard. That means I can just record this, I can end the meeting, and we can go apart, right? But it's not the case. You're here, you're live, you're investing your time and attention. So celebrate it, right? Be active. Just type in anything that you want to type. Type in anything that comes to your mind, because it will help your learning to accelerate faster, okay? So 7-step prospecting secrets that generating me more than $3 million and counting. These are the secrets of prospecting, all right? A lot of people don't know about this, and I want you to prove it to yourself. Do it. Let me know how it works, okay? It doesn't mean it will work 1,000% for you. It doesn't mean it will work 100% all the time for you, but it works most of the time rather than getting rejections and feel hurt. Right? More importantly, you will get that courage to make those calls without hesitation. So let's get started. So who wants some bonus resources to help prospecting getting more results? If you want it, type 1 in the chat. If you want the bonus, type 1 in the chat. If you want it, type 1 in the chat. All right. If you want it, stay till the end of this. It's a reward for you completing this workshop and commit it to yourself. I want you to earn it, not just take it for granted, but I want you to earn it. Why? Because the things that you earn yourself, that you're going to use it, you're going to love it, you're going to appreciate it compared to things that you just take for granted, right? So, do you believe in prospecting? How many of you here, and I'm very curious to ask this question long time ago actually, how many of you here believe in prospecting? Or you can say outbound, right? How many of you believe in prospecting? All right, type in the chat. If you believe in prospecting, type me in the chat. Type me in the chat if you believe in prospecting. All right, the question is why? Why you believe in prospecting? Because so many closers, I mean the word closers is because they are basically salesperson that trained to close deals, right? It's called closers. Now, so many closers, they are just believe in doing inbound. And I have my friends, he's not here, but he told me just a couple of days ago, why you have to do prospecting? You want to earn some money? Just take inbound opportunity, inbound closing deals. It's so much easier. Less traction, less rejections. I agree. If you can do inbound closing and generate consistent income, do it. But here's the question. Who is taking control of your sales process right now? Type in the chat. If you know the answer of this, type in the chat. If you are doing calls or having sales meetings, who is taking control of your sales process? Aha, okay, I see a right answer, right? Who is taking control of your sales process? What I mean by sales process is the process how you get into the sales meeting, right? Most people getting it from the marketing. Well done. If you do it from the cold calls from yourself, you generate the leads yourself. Well done. That's good. That's momentum. And that's exactly prospecting is. Right? But a lot of people, they're telling themselves that the lead should be generated by marketing and not by sales. There's nothing wrong about it, and it's true. I super agree, because in fact, some of you come to this webinar because from the ads, right? From my social media. I didn't reach out to you and cold calls you, right? But why you're here? Because the marketing, that's right. But it's not consistent, isn't it? If you've been doing closing or sales more than 2 years, more than 5 years, You know, marketing is always up and downs, and lead quality is inconsistent. You cannot say to the marketing, I want this avatar exactly what I want and give me that. You can predict, but it's not consistent. At the end of the day, I need you be the one who controlling your sales process. The only way to do that is by doing prospecting, outreach. And this is not a reason. This is my 13 months son. And he started learning about closing, right? My 1-year-old son already started learning it. What does it mean? If you're already talking to people who are interested, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. But why you get paid in sales, you earn the income, is because you do something that you are the one who's doing it. You have full control of your sales meeting by doing outreach, right? If you don't do outreach yourself, you always dependent on the marketing, on the influencer, or on other people. That is not consistent. You cannot maintain the lead quality from marketing for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, right? It's always up and downs. Depends on what? On Facebook, depends on Google, depends on Meta, depends on a lot of stuff, right? That you cannot control. But if you want to take full control on your sales meetings, take ownership, do your prospecting. I'm going to share with you how I do it. And this is the fact. Nobody likes it. Put in the chat, if you like doing calling and prospecting, type 2 in the chat. If you like doing it. If you don't like doing it, type 1 in the chat. If you don't like doing it, type 1 in the chat. Oh, interesting. I can see some answers. 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. It is a very interesting world, right? Prospecting is hard. Getting rejection, getting screamed, yelled. I don't know if you have that experience before, but I got yelled many times. Get scolded, right? It's not easy. But I'm good at it. Meaning that it doesn't matter. It's professionality. Take it to the professional degree. Don't just take it personally. Right? How many of you in sales, if you're a salesperson and you're selling other people's product, right? Type 1 in the chat if you're a salesperson. If you're a salesperson, you don't have your own product, meaning that you help companies to promote or sell, close the product, type 1 in the chat. All right, I can see a lot of 1. Okay, if you are the business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're selling your stuff, you have your own product, type 2 in the chat. Type 2 in the chat if you are. All right, good. I can see some people 1 and 2. That exactly is right. Good. Now, if you are doing sales yourself as a business owner and you're doing prospecting, how do you feel about it? How do you feel when you do prospecting as a business owner? As an entrepreneur, you sell your own stuff, but you're also doing prospecting. How do you feel? Type in the chat. You feel great about it? You feel not good about it? You feel hesitate? How do you feel? Okay, some people say excited. Michael said excited. Folks said interesting. Okay. Hamizan said confused. Yes. You see, prospecting is very varies, right? It is one activity that is, a lot of people hate to do it, but it's critical. And my goal today is to close you to understand what does it take to make this tough job work. Okay? So at the end of this webinar, you're going to understand, because I'm going to close you on you, in the better self of yourself. Okay? So be ready. Enjoy the ride and take notes. Be very, very interactive on the chat, okay? Because I'll ask you a lot of questions to make you interactive, okay? So let's go. Before we get started, turn off distraction, make it fun, make it interactive. It's going to be challenging your belief. A lot of things that I do today is going to be counterintuitive. It's nothing new, but it's going to be challenge your mindset. The things that you have before, the habit that you have, is going to be different. Okay? I'll make it as practical as possible. So I need you to take action and prove it to me if what I say is wrong or right. And nothing is held back from this presentation. You can literally implement every single step that I teach you to make result. Okay? And if you want to get that bonus that I mentioned at the beginning, stay until the end. Because on the Q&A session, I'll drop in the chat the bonus that you can get at the end of it. Okay? So, what are we going to cover today? Is the why, is the belief, and the 7th step itself, and the next step. How that you can be the best version of you. Now, I got this question, right? And this is also a lot of people actually asking this question to many influencers, many people that they have been doing some teaching or their stuff, right? And they're asking the question, how to make $10,000 per month, right? It is a very interesting question, right? And a lot of people actually believe that they can get to $10,000 per month consistently without doing so much work, right? And how many of you here right now at this moment consistently making $10,000 per month? Type in the chat, type 1 in the chat if you do. If you're not yet, you're progressing there, type 2 in the chat. But you haven't break this mark yet, type 2 in the chat. Okay, good. And just to be direct with you guys, I haven't really been consistent. Some months I make more than 10, some months I make less than 10. Why? Because it's not that easy to break this amount. And so many gurus, so many influencers out there that they have been promoting this and saying that you can make it consistent with just doing this stuff. And here's the reality. It's like gambling, right? That is a black sheep syndrome, meaning that if you win, you get it. But if you lose, you don't. And this is a very interesting situation, because I have a friend that he was actually doing a lot of teachings. So he's a coach, he's a business coach that teaching about Amazon business. And he has been generating more than $200 million in just 2 years. Generating the leads from marketing, getting inbound leads, hiring closers, and they hire until 85 closers last December. And what happened is, on February or March, I cannot recall the time, but around the time, the marketing breakdown, and they fire 80 people. They lose $125 million. $125 million because the marketing broke down. And now he's working together with my mentor and paid my mentor $50,000 to just get him learn how to do outreach. Isn't that interesting? He lose almost the money because he trusts the inbound too much. He doesn't know how to do outbound, and he has zero outbound activity. And when the break happens, he lose all the gambling. And here is my message to a lot of people that's always saying that, oh, I always do inbound because inbound is good. It's just people are already interested and can close them on the call. It's never been consistent. I never seen inbound opportunities that has been going through more than 3 years, 2.5 years, the longest. But how about people that not make it? Here's what happened. So the reality question should be how to make just 5K. How many are happy if you just make 5K? 5K is not super big amount, but in ringgit, I think it's about 24,000 ringgit. And in, I don't know, in rupiah, probably it's about 17 times 5, 85 juta, right? And in Philippines, I don't know, in pesos. But this amount, for most of us, in Asia, probably, we are quite satisfied with this consistently, right? Feel good. And here is the path. Here is the path. If you want to make it, and brief notes, this is if you are selling something online, right? Or if this is something that a lot of people that's saying, if you're selling virtually from digital marketing or like influencer, infomercial products, right? How that you can do it. So let's say you get 500 commission, it's 10 sales, you need 10 closes, you need 30 appointments, meaning 1 appointment per day, then you need to do 50 daily activity, right? This is if you're a salesperson. If you're selling your own stuff, it's even easier because you're controlling all the output and input of it, right? So this is the formula. If you want, and what is very interesting between the left and the right, if you get a higher commission or the higher price point product, you can just double the amount of activity and you will double your income. And this is true, by the way. This is heaven, including bonuses. And if you're doing sales, right? If you can achieve 10 sales, let's say you get another 10%, 20% bonuses on top of that. And it depends. And here's the rule of thumb. The higher the price, right? The lesser activity you do, the more efficient you are. The lower the price point, the more activity that you gotta do, right? So you have to remember, people invest for transformation. That's where the price comes into place, right? Knowledge is something that you can get for free. You can open YouTube and you can get it there. And you can see other people teaching about stuff on YouTube, on the internet. It's easy to get. But transformation is hard to get. That's why we're talking about price. The higher the price point, the more likely you can make it higher income. So think about that. If you are selling insurance, if you're selling other products, you need to start calculating like this. How many you need? This is called reverse engineer. How many you need in order for you to make $5,000 per month? You can break it down from your activity. Generating 1 appointment per day is easy, by the way. If you haven't generating 1 appointment per day, you're gonna have to look into the process. What have you done? How many activity have you done? Is that consistent? Look at your script. Again, you need to measure so you can improve it. Okay? Make sense so far? Are you following? Any question, put it in the Q&A. If you're following, type 1 in the chat. If you getting value, type 1 in the chat. If you see this is good, type 1 in the chat. You getting this? All right, good. So, I want to ask a very important question here. What is different between left and right? What is different between when you're being asked, what is 1 plus 1? What is the answer, by the way? Type in the chat if you know the answer, 1 plus 1. If you know the answer, type in the chat. 2, exactly, right? Or the second one. Let me think about it. Let me think about it. What is the difference? What is the difference, guys? Put in the chat. What is the difference between left and right? What is the difference? Put in the chat. All right. Okay, I can see a lot of answers. Some people say cooperation, inconclusive, taking your time, biased thinking, certainty, visible answer. Left one didn't involve complex thinking skills. One kind of objections, the other is subjective. Yes, Michael, you get it very close, right? Here's the thing. 1 plus 1 is fact. It's the fact. Let me think about it is the objection, right? It's not true. It's not true when someone says, let me think about it, how you handle it? Come on, closers, put in the chat, how you handle it? If someone says, let me think about it, how you handle it? How you handle it? Type in the chat, what will you say if someone says, let me think about it? Okay, Brandon says, does the idea make sense to you? Okay, like it? I like it. Good. If they are understanding. Okay, risky. Brandon says it's a smoke screen. Yes, exactly, right? Michael said, what concern about this? Can you explain? All right, all right. And just said, what may I provide now for the clarity to give you more info? How can I help you think about it, Joanna? Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. Now, you will not be able to answer it exactly, right? If you answer 1 plus 1, it's a logic question. And everyone can say 2 because it's the fact. When you put 1 paper plus 1 paper, it is 2 papers, right? Even though the nominal is not 1. But you combine it together, become 2, right? It's the fact. If someone says, let me think about it, you can have 1,000 answers to it. It's the objections. It's a smoke screen. It's not something that is straight. It's not direct, right? And here is the interesting part. When you're answering 1 plus 1, your subconscious already telling you that this, I know the answer. But the second one, when someone asks you, let me think about it, you have to think about the answer. Is that true? Yes? Type yes in the chat. If I read your mind, type yes in the chat. Why is that? Because you have been practicing it, right? Since you're small, since you're a little kid, 5 years old, maybe not 5, maybe 6 years old, right? 7 years old, you know 1 plus 1 is 2. And you have been practicing it since you're young. But how many of you practicing how to answer, let me think about it, since 5 years old? Nobody, I can bet, right? Because you never been trained to answer this. That's why I'm so excited today to share this with you. And I want you to prove this to me. If you do it, if you make it work, if you take action, okay? Here's the thing. Assumption leads to failure. Assumption leads to failure. This is the number one key in prospecting. How many of you here, put in the chat, how many of you here, when you are making those prospecting calls, you have that assumption? What if the other person will reject me? What if they didn't pick up? Maybe I should call later. What if they having some lunch? What if they just hang up? What if they, I don't know, but what if they busy and just ignore me, right? Assumption kills you. It leads to failure, big time, all the time, right? Without even you realizing it. Type 1 if that's true. Type 1 in the chat if I just call it out. Right? Because it's normal for us to make assumption as our defense mechanism. Because we're not practicing it. We didn't do it enough. We're not taking action yet. That's why assumption leads to failure. But you need to know, this is the fact. Who can read this? Who can help me to read this? Shakir, you can go to his Instagram and check this post yourself. He said, my biggest deals I've closed have come from doing outbound. I outbounded Russell Brunson to buy a domain name from me for 1.3 million cash in USD, by the way. And then he said to himself, do more outbound. How many of you find it interesting? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you find this interesting. Do you know how much Shakir bought that domain that he sell 1.3 million cash? Do you know? Take a guess. Put in the chat. How much do you think Shakir bought that domain? Funnels.com. If you don't believe it, you can type in the Google Chrome. Not now, later, right? Type funnels.com. It's his domain. It is 5K, 5,000 USD, and he sell it for 1.3 million cash. And he made it by doing outbound. Why? Because you cannot inbound Russell Brunson. How many of you feel that? You cannot inbound Russell Brunson. Do you think Russell Brunson will click to your ads and then fill in the form and says that I want to buy this domain? The only way you can reach out to him is by reaching out. It's by doing outbound. Following me? Yes? This is one proof. Without assumption, taking action, you make it happen. But with assumption, and he will say, oh, but he's Russell Brunson. How many of you want to outbound Russell Brunson? Want to make calls to him? A lot of people. You want it. But you will not do it because you have assumption. How if he didn't pick up? How if he not responding to my email? How if he ignore me? How if he angry to me, right? Assumption kills. So let me share a little bit of my story. I'll go a bit faster because of the time, guys. I want you to get into that 7th step faster. But I need to share my story so you guys can relate and understand what is that exactly, right? So I was the former sales leader at Dan Lok organization. How many of you know the name Dan Lok, right? And former sales director from Advisor Inc. And it was one of the Fortune 500 companies in US, and working with multi-billion-dollar company right now in investment and luxury private jet company. Everything is virtual. Everything is virtual. So I was starting basically before even I have this. I was starting with $10. $10 on my pocket. Exactly 6 years ago. When I didn't know how to do sales, How many of you know my degree? When I went to university, how many of you know my degree? I was graduated from architecture, design, interior design, right? And I was going to Singapore basically to find a job, right? And I was actually start with $300, 300 Singapore dollars on my pocket, and I was start to rent a room there when I was looking for that job opportunities, right? And I have to spend that $250 for the rent. That left me with $10. And I still remember vividly that time, 6 years ago, when I have rented that small room. Is 3 by 3 meters. So it's about 10 feet by 10 feet, right? And it's very small. And we have shared 3 people together on that room. It's just 6 years ago. It's not too long ago. I still remember very well. And next door was the bathroom. Some kind of pee smell that is crazy. And I just doing it every day. I just have to travel using MRT, the train, like 1 hour. I come back late, and I have to do it again the next day. I come back late, and I have to travel to Malaysia, coming back late. And I have no life. I have no life. Because all the time that I use is struggling on the road. And you know how much salary I got? $500. And I spent $250 to the rent. So it left me with $250. Then something clicked to me. And I was saying to myself that how other people can make good money, good income. And that's where actually I met one of my mentor that I worked with him before, right, in his company, and he teach me about sales. Now I didn't know anything about sales, and my job is about architecture. So from there I negotiate, and this another skill that you can learn is about negotiation. I negotiate with my boss in the design company, architecture company, to do sales. And I was saying to her, I still remember very clearly, I was saying that if I can get you some deals, would you be open to share with me 7% of the profit? And she was like, sure, go ahead, because she didn't know that I can do sales, because I just learned it, right? All the time I was so introvert, I was so shy, I cannot talk to strangers, I just don't know what to do. And I only have $10 in my pocket after that day, because I spent everything for the room, I spent it for the food that I have, and just left me $10. And I just do it. I don't know how to do it. I make 20 calls outbound. And let me share with you something that I never share actually. But this is so important that I think you guys want to see this. This is very interesting. It's not in the sheet, but I want to share with you so you guys can see the proof that I did it back then when I'm just getting started. I should put it in the presentation actually, but let me share with you one proof that I came to Singapore and I did outbound myself and I got some opportunities from there. So I'm resharing my screen and you should be able to see what? What do you see? What do you see? Can you type in the chat, what do you see? Maps, right? Google Maps. And this is what I do. Can you see all the safe location? This is what I did. I went to Google Maps and I saved all the companies that needs supplier in construction, right? And I was applying there. So I called them and I said to them, do you need this? They say no. Do you need this? They say no. And I just looking for it, right? And I look for the name. I look for, so take example, right? This architect's firm. And I just see the number and I call it and I just offer them something. I didn't have any skill back then until I met my mentor and start doing some sales to kind of understand how I do it. But this is where I start. I make some random calls. I just try to talk to them. But here's the interesting path. I made 20 calls per day for 30 days. And I got two appointments in a day. Almost 2 appointments in a day. So some days I didn't get it, some days I got it, but majority of the time I got about 2 appointments in a day. So that's the skill that you will learn and how that you can do it, right? You can make your own opportunity from nothing, from just Google Maps. Until I have this achievement and generating more than $3 million, but you need to start looking for that yourself. You need to take that action. Even you don't know how to do it, just take action. Get more failures so you can get better. Okay? So this is what I always say. Close, don't sell. Right? Why? Because people are still picking up cold calls. Do you think Russell Brunson didn't pick up calls? He is. Why do you think mobile phone is even invented? It's called mobile phone because they carry it with themselves. How many of you have mobile phone but you never pick it up? But you never carry it? You should. It's called mobile phone, right? So make some calls. Make some sales calls. And look at these 10 points. The 10 reasons why that you fail on prospecting. Normally, people are be the same and easily predictable. They have no control over conversation. They have inability to talk to decision maker, right? And they always put prospect on the pedestal. They lack of consistency in action. In action. They talk too much. They are too sleek. And they don't know how to handle objections. Their lack of purpose and too attached. They have no positioning. Type in the chat from 1 to 10, which one do you think that you have been doing it? From 1 to 10, which one do you think you have been doing it? Type in the chat. It can be more than one. It can be more than one. All right. Okay, I can see some answers. 7, 6. Okay. 4, 5. Okay. 9. 7, 8, 5, 2, 2, 8, 10. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay, so many people have different answers. So pay attention to this, write it down for yourself, which one that you are still doing it. I need you to be aware of that first. That's the first step. Just be aware. Okay, I can see a lot of numbers are pretty equal, the same though. Number 10, I think we can see number 10 quite a lot. I'll teach you exactly how that you can get positioning in the first 5 seconds on the call. Okay, good. All right, let's continue. I'll go a bit fast because of the time, okay? Now, this is exactly why. Of all those 10 reasons, this is the biggest one. Except, I think, number 6, because too sleek sometimes also is too much of the exact script that keep repeating, right? But this is one of the exactly reason a lot of people failing in prospecting because they have fear too much controlling them. Fear is about false evidence appearing to be real. It's not real. You just need to take action, right? It's what the memes, right? Typical sales prospecting calls, people don't want it. And that's why people fear and afraid about it. But the great one, they want it. I even ever asked to one CEO, and that CEO is actually local in Malaysia. And they were like corporate companies. And I was just asking them, are you taking prospecting calls? You know what the answer? We don't. For the typical one, we ignore them. But the great one, we take it. Interesting answers. doesn't it? You know why? Because they do it themselves. They do sales. They like the good ones, but they don't like the typical ones. And a lot of people actually don't even know if they're just doing the typical one. So today, let's change that. Change that behavior. What is the typical one? Okay? So we have 3 types of salesperson, right? Number 1, you know this, who are the order taker, right? They just take the order when it comes to McDonald's or Burger King, right? And just like, how can I help you? Oh, I want 2 burgers, 2 sodas, and fries. All right, let me give you exchange money. Done, right? That's the order. Okay. The second thing is the server, right? Oh, by the way, I just got into. How many of you doing real estate? Put in the chat. How many of you doing real estate? Put in the chat. Type me if you're doing real estate. By the way, I just talked to one of my friends, right? And he had the same experience. Let me share with you the experience. So I just browsed the Facebook, and I'm being retargeted by ads on Facebook, right? And the ads was saying properties in KL, right, in Kuala Lumpur, right? And she was talking in Chinese basically, and she told me that, oh, there is a interesting feature, it's nearby MRT, blah blah, right? And I was like, well, let me look into it, because I was looking to invest in some properties in KL, all right? Then I just get into the form, and I fill in the form. I didn't hear back. I didn't hear back for like 3 days. When she reached out to me, you know what she did? She sent me a WhatsApp saying that, hey, my name is Lisa. It's just a made-up name, okay? I don't want to expose the name. My name is Lisa, and this is the property that we have. And she sent me 27 messages. 20, exactly 7 messages. 27 messages of the property that she's selling. This is exactly the server. She don't care about me. She didn't ask me any question. She didn't say. She only asked at the end of the message, asking like, which one are you interested? I was like, are you presenting a menu? And want me to choose which one? It's just weird. It's not doing sales. Like it's actually a sales, right? But it's just the server. Like if you go to a restaurant and the server is like giving you the menu, like, hey sir, which one do you want? Right? I'll just pick, okay, I want 1 burger, I want 1 soda, okay, thank you. Right? If you go to the restaurant, you tell that to the server, right? That's the server presenting menu. And the third one is the one that you need to be, which is the closer. You're understanding, empathy, reaching out, give the solution. Right? Which one you want to be? Number 1, number 2, number 3. Type in the chat. Type in the chat which one you want to be. Which one you are being. Okay. I need you to start changing the vocabulary, right? From I want to, I will, to say I am. Let me repeat that. It's very important. You need to change your vocabulary from I want to, I will, change that to I am. It works. It works because you are imagining your self-image. You are being it. You are embodying the image. And that's so critical. When you say I will be, I am going to, I will, means you're telling yourself you haven't. And that gives you some subconscious, some doubt. But if you say I am, right now, you be it. When you be it, you have all the advantage of the image that you want. Make sense? That's what you need to do, okay? So change that vocabulary. Now, describe a salesperson, right? This just, I think a lot of you know about this, right? I'll go a bit fast on here. How many of you agree with this? Right? People are fast talker, greedy, aggressive, attached, annoying, pushy, rude, selfish, talkative, right? especially when doing prospecting. This is the image in the marketplace. And it's true that most people don't like salespeople, don't like prospector, don't like closer that doing prospecting, right? How many of you, when you got a call, type me in the chat if you are. If you get a call from a random person and say that, hello sir, my name is XYZ from ABC company, and I'm calling you today, how are you today, right? How many of you get that? Type me in the chat if you get it. How often you get it? How often you get it? For me, I'm quite rare getting it. I want to get more actually, but I quite rare. Because I want to close them back and giving them better version, how they do it, right? But unfortunately, I'm getting less. So, a bit disappointed. But here's the thing. If they just do it typically like that, that is the image of how everyone look into it, right? Greedy, false talker, aggressive, attached, annoying, pushy, rude, selfish, talkative, right? Nobody likes it. And here's the question. Will you tell them the truth? Yes or no? No! Nobody will tell them the truth, right? Including you. Even you are the salesperson, even if you're a closer, you will not tell them the truth. Why? This is subconscious, guys. And it's so deep, okay? Why are you not telling the truth? Because not worth the time, right? Don't want to fight with them, don't want to argue, right? They're not coachable, right? It's pointless to talk to them, right? Whatever reason it is, you are lying. Because you missed to tell them the truth. And that's what society has been trained. Trained to be a buyer. And when society has been trained to be a buyer, they will lie to the salesperson all day long, even though they like the salesperson. Right? The prospect said she was interested, called back 16 times, no answer. Right? It's the same thing. I fill in the form as because I'm interested, but they reach out to me a bit too late. I didn't tell the truth to them, and they keep asking me. But at the end of the day, you will lie. That's what happened. Right? This exactly prospect's behavior. Even we wearing that cap as a prospect when they reach out to us. Right? A lot of people say, if you are talking to prospect, right, whoever is that you're talking to, they say that, yeah, I'm interested. Actually, they not, right? When they say interested, not interested, when actually they are, right? They said they have no budget when they actually have budget, right? When they say have budget when actually they're broke. Right? How many of you have this experience? Type me in the chat if you have this. The opposite words. They say the opposite. Yes, me, okay, can see that, all right. And number two is the info robbery. And I did it myself, right? And it's totally fine if you are wearing the buyer's cap. I'm not blaming it. This is just the fact in the marketplace. You cannot change this. This is just what happened in the marketplace, in the society right now, right? You go to exhibition and just pretending you want to buy the property, but you just want to get all the information. You don't have intent to buy, right? How many of you have that experience? They're asking you questions, right? How does it work? Oh, you're a social media expert. Show me the step exactly. Right? How long will it take? What is the strategy? How much will it cost? What would you suggest, right? They asking you this information, but then don't want to hire you since the beginning, right? And it's normal. That's prospect behavior in full robbery. And number 3 is the steady prediction. They know, and we know, and everyone knows. If they jump on a sales call, at the end of it, they want to get the best way out, to not commit to anything. That's why you're having a hard time to one call close. How many of you agree? Type me in the chat. You're having a hard time to one call close or get that commitment is because they already know at the end of the sales calls, you will sell them something. You want them to commit to something. And they already know, and they say objections. They say reasons. They say authority, higher authority, right? And saying, oh, I need to speak with my wife, right? I need to speak with my dog, right? But all they have prepared in their subconscious because they know, I don't want to commit to anything. Right? And what happened? At the end, they transform you to become a cheesy mouse, right? A vermin, right? Hide behind existence. You're getting what? You're getting invisible ghost. How many of you have this? Type me in the chat. Have this experience. When the prospect, after done the sales meeting, they just hiding somewhere that you cannot find them. And you go to the social media and you're asking, hey, are you there? How is the proposal that I sent to you? Do you like it? How do you feel about it, right? And they never respond back to you. Do you want me to send it to you again, right? And you keep reaching out to them, become this mouse chasing the cheese, right? And it's normal. You cannot change that, right? Okay, time check. Are you getting value, guys? Type yes in the chat if you're getting value. If you follow me so far, if you get the awareness of this mindset, start with that. Type yes in the chat if you get it. All right, good. Let's keep the spirit up. Let's go. Let's keep the spirit up. Let's go. Still have a lot to go. I'll get a bit faster, okay? Focus. Next, get to the truth. You know prospect behavior. Now we need to get to the truth, to the bottom line of it. If you treat the salespeople like that, now you need to be aware of that and get to the truth. What is the reality inside of the mindset? If you know this movie, how many of you know this movie? Type 1 in the chat. If you know this movie, if you watch it before, type 1 in the chat. This is a very great movie, right? So, there are some professionals that their job is to infiltrate, is to steal, is to get the information from the subconscious mind. Ethically, right? It's not like they will kill someone, no. And this is why it's called by influence, redirection, and maneuvering, right? And it's the same concept in sales. If you know, imagine that, right? You are getting to the subconscious mind of the buyer, of the prospect, and you need to steal that information from them. What is the truth that holding them back from buying, from investing? And you need to face your own truth to get there. You cannot just be hypocrite, right? If you're saying to a person that, I'm not afraid of investing 5,000, 3,000, but you yourself, if you're afraid of investing that amount, then you will be hypocrite. You cannot get to the truth, right? That's why it's subconscious. Following me? So if you are position yourself as someone that want to sell a high-ticket product, that you need to brave enough to invest in high-ticket. Doesn't mean you have to eventually, right? But again, imagine that you are in that position and you do it. It's the same thing. It's get to the truth. It is subconscious, right? So these professionals, they go to someone's mind on their dreams, right? Steal information from the subconscious, extracting that. That's what our job. That's what we need to do. When you're doing sales, remember this. Get to the truth subconsciously. But it starts with have you overcome your own limiting belief? And what is your investing belief? Are you afraid even to invest in real estate if you're selling real estate? If you're selling digital marketing, have you afraid doing digital marketing? What is your truth? What is your belief? And everything is happening in subconscious level. It's not something that you can be aware and just say yes or no. But it is inside your subconscious level, at the back of your head, when you are going to sleep or when you early wake up. That stage is your subconscious. That is where you know the answer of this, right? It's processing all the memory and stuff. Now, here is the most interesting part with subconscious level. It always have two sides. It always have two sides, right? And remember, don't always say, I will, but you say, I am. Even though you haven't achieved it yet, but you train your subconscious to get to the truth and say yes to it. Make sense? So you always have two sides in your realm, in your body, your mind, your subconscious always have two sides. Like this movie. How many of you know this movie? Type in the chat. Type in the chat. If you know this movie, type in the chat. In this movie, what it tells? Talking about subconscious. You will have two sides. You are having two sides in your mind. One is the shadow self. Another one is the true self. This is a concept from the Greek, ancient Greek, back then, the philosopher. I forgot the name. He mentioned about this. Shadow self and true self. And this is applied to your prospect. So when you are reaching out to your prospect, you need to know they always operating in their shadow self. And how that can you bring their true self? How can you defeat this black Spider-Man, right? And make the real Spider-Man come out? It's by asking them questions. But you need to know how they operate. You see on the shadow self, they're always asking about, they're hesitating, right? They're doubting. They're fearful, they're indecisive, negativity, pessimistic, no action, right? And your true self is always carrying conviction, confidence, belief that you can do it, decisive, positivity, optimistic, take action. And if you want to be good in sales, and this is the first lesson that I get, and I solve it in about a couple weeks or months. It's not easy to overcome this. But the first step is to be aware. And how many of you here have been operating more in shadow self? Face the truth. How many of you here have been operating more in shadow self? Sometimes you doubt yourself. You're fearful, indecisive, don't know what to do. No action. Not enough action. Being pessimist. By the way, this is not all the time. You can switch between the two in split seconds. But which one are you operating most of the time? And it's a hard, deep conversation with yourself. It's not easy. It's all subconscious. While the true self is all the positivity, caring, conviction, empathy, confidence, believe you can do it, decisive, take action, positivity, optimistic. It's all about possibility. Why shadow self is killing that possibility. Shadow self gives you the regrets. Not because you take the wrong action, but because you never take the action. You never make that calls. You never reach out to those people that you want to reach out to. You hesitate. You assume things. Sometimes you hurt yourself. Sometimes you feel that it's like dead end. You're just going like a spiral down the stairs. You feel fear. Don't know what to do. And that's all the same with your prospect. And you have that subconsciously. You're transferring that energy to them. How can you change that? It's a split-second decision. And you cannot avoid this. This is the only way for you to be good in sales. By face it, get to the truth. Get to the reality. But everything starts with one: awareness. When you have that awareness, can consciously knowing it, then practice your subconscious to start believing that is true. And everybody in this world, they have that true self. Why is it called true? Because everyone is pure. Everyone doesn't have these two sides. But we all, born to this world, we learn a lot of stuff, affecting us to have these two sides. And nobody can avoid this anymore, unless you go to your final breath. But there's no other choice. In order to be good in sales, you need to forgive yourself. You need to take more action. You need to be optimistic. You need to be decisive. If not, the shadow self will always take it over you. And remember, our mission is to gain control over the sales conversation. You need to operate from the true self. Just be aware. Everything that you do, take more action. Because results only come from true self. And take action, it will shut down the shadow self. And it's the lesson. To tear down prospects' objection and their walls, you need to overcome your very own belief subconsciously. Like you look into the mirror. If you have a mirror right now, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but if you look into yourself, who do you see? Who do you exactly see? Is that the truth? Is that you? Or is that the shadow self? You need to face it, interact with it. Because sometimes you cannot see yourself unless you really look into it. Okay, someone said, please share previous slide. Okay, this one? Yes, is that you hiding behind the mirror? Nobody can change that. Nobody can hide from the mirror unless you face it. So, this is another important part. The purpose versus the outcome, okay, of prospecting. What is the purpose? Which one is more important, by the way? The purpose or the outcome? Or same, they're both important. Type in the chat. If you feel both, type both. If you feel outcome, type outcome. If you feel the purpose, type the purpose. All right, I can see a lot of different answers. I love it. Outcome, both, purpose, both, outcome, both. Okay. All right, let's dive into it. You will find the answer and you will get the answer after a couple minutes from now, okay? So, the purpose, what is the purpose? The purpose of prospecting call is to get someone emotionally moved, to get in front of the people we truly can help, to get rid of people who are not our audience that we cannot help them. And we need to focus on the progress and unattach to the outcome. All right, it's so interesting. The purpose of prospecting call is not to set up appointments, is not to collect money. The purpose of prospecting call is solely and only to move your prospect emotionally. That's the purpose. But a lot of people, they're focusing too much on the outcome. They're being attached. They want to set up the appointments. It is the same like lawyer, right? If you have a trial, what is the purpose of trial? It's not to win the trial. The purpose of that is to presenting the case where you are undefeatable. That's it. But it's not to win the argument or the conversation. That is the outcome of it. The outcome is the result when you do the purpose correctly. When you are not attached to it, you do the purpose. Make sense? But if you do it wrongly and you attach to the outcomes, you beat the purpose itself. So the only way you can make the best result in prospecting is by focusing on the purpose. Doesn't mean it's not important, but you need to focus on the purpose and not attach to the outcome. And what is the purpose? To move them emotionally. To move the prospect emotionally. And we are disqualifying them if they're not a good fit. We only want to talk to the people that we truly can help them. And with confidence, we can bring them result. All right? This is so important. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is the 7th step. The first step is called pattern interrupt. And you need to be different. Okay? When you do prospecting calls, it cannot be the same as other people. Cannot be perceived as salesperson. Because when you're being perceived as salesperson, what they will do? What they will do? Put in the chat. If you even if you, let's say you are the prospect that getting a call from average salesperson that calling you saying, hey, how are you? This is ABC from DF company. I'm calling because, how do you feel? What will you do? Type in the chat. It cannot be perceived as that. Because you will hang up. You'll scold them. Some of you maybe will be turn them down. No matter what they sell, no matter who they are, and you don't care. You close the door. Right? You're not going to let them in because it's just sounding too normal. As an average salesperson that is talkative, pushy, and it's the subconscious. You cannot change that. Right? You as a prospect, you cannot change that. So the same with the prospect that you're talking to. If you make the call to them, it doesn't have to be very cold. By the way, you can also reach out to people in the lead magnet that they got it from you, or even they already been talking before, but they go on a bit colder. You want to call them back. You can do this as well, right? So the first step is to tell them truthfully and just be direct and honest. Hey, John, this is a first contact call, and this is a sales call, and we've never spoken before. Would you like to hang up now? Or maybe give me 30 seconds, and then you can decide. Boom. How if you get that? If you get a call like that, what will you say? Type in the chat. If you get a call and someone says, hey John, these are sales calls and we never spoken before. Do you want to hang up? Or give me maybe 30 seconds, then you can decide. Exactly. You'll give that 30 seconds. Why? Because it's different. And this is the most reaction that I got myself when I do this. They just laugh. I was like, it's very interesting how you open this call. Okay, go on. What is this about? Right? It's what they do. Of course, it depends on who you call, right? But most people, when I call some companies, I'm calling companies, by the way, and they have this reaction and just laugh and tell me, go on, go ahead, have that 30 seconds, right? Then what? Then you're in. You got your 30 seconds. What you do? Second step, problem, symptoms. Right? If you're talking to the managing director, right, you can say, so we are typically invited by managing director in the fitness industry, and they tell us that they are frustrated with their personal trainer because they cannot close deals, even if they're giving some trials, or maybe they're struggling with their follow-up system because the potential clients just ended up being ignored and ghosting, and they never sign up. Or maybe some of them also disappointed because their clients are somehow just not interested and don't want to prolong their membership because of any reasons, right? That's what you do. You're not telling them like, hey, we are helping fitness industry managing director to get better at sales and getting them to train the personal trainer so they can close deals. We're not pitching them. What most salespeople do when they call. Hey sir, we are helping Fortune 500 companies to get their social media leads from $0, and we can give you trial if you want, if you're interested, and we can set up the appointment with our executive director, and you can understand how the process works. Would you be interested? That's what most salespeople are doing, right? They're pitching their own stuff. But we don't. We're different. What should you do? Say the word out loud. We are typically invited by. We are typically invited by managing director, like you, in the fitness industry, and then they tell us that they are struggling to get more clients. They are disappointed because they cannot reach their goals in sales, or maybe they can struggling to upsell their clients, and oftentimes they're frustrated because they have pressure from the boss. You state the emotion directly. Can you see the emotional words? In the first 5 seconds you come in and tell their emotional words, the trigger word. Frustrated, struggling, disappointed, confused. What else? Type in the chat. What are emotional words that you can think of? It has to be pain points. Cannot just go with the dream yet. What else? What kind of emotional words that you know? Problem symptoms. Put in the chat. Like frustrated, struggling, disappointed. What else? Confused. Does not believe. Lose confidence. Giving up. Yeah, that's good. Right? Discouraged. Lost trust. Tired. Yes. So you go with emotional words and tell them about what they feel. It has to be pain enough to move them emotionally. You cannot just tell them, oh, we are helping companies to get more passive income by investing in real estate so they can get more return in 300% in the next 6 months. It's too typical. Nobody believes that. But if you talk about them, you talk about their pain points, you call them out instead of you're talking about something that they don't know about. And you need to tailor this, by the way, exactly to who that you call. Because if you do it wrongly, they will not resonate with it, they will still hang up. So you need to tailor your words into their pain points to relate with what they have. Make sense? Following so far? Any question? Put in the Q&A. Guys, if you have any question, put in the Q&A. It's the second step. You state the problem, move them emotionally. At this stage, if you do it correctly, they start to move. They start to feel something inside of them. Subconsciously, start to move. Okay? Now what you do after this? Okay, so recap. First thing, better interrupt. You need to be different. Hey, this is sales calls. Do you want to hang up or maybe give me 30 seconds? Then you can decide. They'll say yes to it, most likely. I would say 80% of people that I call, if they pick up, I cannot change people who don't pick up. Unfortunately, there's a problem that I cannot solve, right? But if they pick up, I can make them to stay on the call, 60 to 80% of them, by just saying this statement. Hey, this is a sales call. Do you want to hang up? Or maybe give me 30 seconds, then you can decide. They'll say yes to it, most likely, right? And then, second step, after they say yes to it, then you say this. So we are typically invited by managing director like you in the fitness industry because they tell us that they are struggling with their clients database. They don't know what to do with their personal trainer because they cannot really close deals. And even giving trials, they still getting ghosted and struggling to just follow up with potential clients and upsell them, right? That's the second step. When you give these words, one of these will land, and you just give 3. Don't give 5 because it's going to be too long. You give 3, normally it's just like 30 seconds, right? You give 3. Don't give 1 because you cannot hit that normally. So you choose the 3 that is being different with each other. So either you get this, or maybe you do that, or maybe you feel this, right? So you give them like an option to choose. but all of them are pain points. Now, what to do next? If you do the reverse push and you say, but I get a feeling maybe you don't recognize any of this, don't you? So you cannot be just to push with this because it's too obvious. You're pinching their pain points. It's like you touch their wound and they feel it, they move emotionally, and you say, do you feel any of this? It's too obvious. You need to go in the opposite direction, but not too opposite. You cannot just say, you not feel any of this, right? And they just like feel down, turn down because of that. But no, you need to do it smoothly. They can say, but I get a feeling that maybe you don't recognize any of this. Is that right? So it's like getting them smoothly to that pain. Then they will say what? They can only say yes. Or do they say what? Say no, right? Let's get into that scenario. What if they say yes? Yeah, I know, maybe I feel one of that, right? That's the typical answer, actually. If you pitch the statement, the pain statement correctly, they'll say, yeah, maybe I know some of it, right? If they say yes, what you should ask next? Type in the chat. If they say yes, yeah, maybe I know some of it. What do you ask? Put in the chat. Put in the chat. Okay, good. Oh, my 30 second is up. Yep, what else? What else, guys? Give me some more answers. You guys following this? Is this confusing? Let me know in the chat. All right, tell me more. Tell me more. It's not so soon. I think that will be the second question that I'll ask after it. It's not the first question after they say, yeah, maybe I feel one of it, right? Risky said, I have some feeling. Okay. Yes, Shana, I like it. Which one? They'll say, yeah, maybe I feel. So recap, right? Recap. Go to the scenario again. Go to the previous that you say, you know, we're typically invited by managing director in the fitness industry, and they tell us that they are frustrated with their personal trainer because they can close deals, even with trials, or maybe they're struggling to follow up with their potential clients, and oftentimes they get ignored. But maybe also some of them get disappointed because the clients are just somehow doesn't want to upsell, right? Doesn't want to prolong their membership. But I get a feeling that maybe you don't recognize any of these symptoms. Are you? And they say, yeah, maybe one of it. And you say, interesting. If you don't mind me asking, which one? Which one that you think maybe that you feel it? They will say what? Say one of it. There's no other way. Unless they say no, I don't feel any of it, right? That would be the second scenario. But if they say yes, should ask which one? Which one? And they will say one of it. They'll say, yeah, maybe, you know, I'm having a bit hard time in upselling because our lifetime value, customer lifetime value is not that high. So probably we need to run some ads or anything, but, you know, we're kind of struggling with that a bit. Then only you say like what Carla said, right? Can you give me an example? Tell me more about it, right? But you need to know which one specifically that they say that they have pain on. Make sense? So when they already say that, so what if they say, yeah, I have all of that. I have 3 of them. I have more actually, right? What do they say? Which one is it? I have all. What do they say? You can have all of them. Probably maybe only one of it. You cannot have all of them. They'll say what? No, I feel all of them. You don't know about this problem, blah, 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 blah. I have that experience. When you challenge them, they will do whatever it takes to let them stay in what they say, their statement. So when you say that, you challenge that and say, you cannot have all of it. They say, no, I do have all of it. And then they'll defend themselves. And they will say, because our trainers are not exactly trained enough to just blah, blah, blah. And we also have some upsell issue that haven't been solved because of our marketing director is not really doing the good job and blah, blah, blah. They'll tell you more, right? That's how we do it. Now, what if they say no? No, I don't feel any of it. Ah, interesting. Then one of the two scenario is wrong, right? Either you didn't say the words correctly, that they didn't hit their pain points, or second, that they're just lying, or third, maybe they don't know they have that issue. So what you can do, if they say no to it, then you can just say, well, that's good that you don't have any of that problems, because normally I have that symptoms when speaking to those people, right? So before I go, let's say, if you can just improve one thing in your situation right now, then maybe it doesn't have to be the three things that I mentioned just now. What would that be? And subconsciously, they will answer you. I got this 50-50. Some 50% of people, they'll say, yeah, actually, I want to improve my social media, right? It's something else that you didn't know. Or 50% of them, they'll say, no, I'm not interested. And they just don't want to talk to you. And that's totally fine. You save your time and you can call them next time, but not now, right? That's the reverse push. Then, if they already state what they say about their pain points and they emotionally start to move, what you do next is to get to the permission. Now, the position or the flip, can you see this? They already state their problems. They're already aware of what they are having, of what they are lacking, of what they are feeling. Now, they need you. Because they already move emotionally. What happened? If they need you, and now you can play your game, your cards correctly, and you say, oh, okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing that. But I already have my 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Do you mind talking for a couple minutes, or do you want to hang up now? What they say? What do you think they will say? If they say yes to it, they share their hints already, what do you think they will say? Number 4. If you ask that question, what do you think they will say? Type in the chat. Yes or no? Are you guys following? Is this confusing, guys? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. If it's confusing, I'll get back to it. Yeah, so they will give you the time. Yeah, they'll say, no, I don't mind. Go ahead, right? Because they already moved emotionally. Okay, if you confuse, if you have question, put in a Q&A. I'll get back to this, okay? Because of the time, I'll continue first for now. But they will say, yeah, okay, go ahead, go on, right? You got it. Then you say, I'll get another 5 minutes because I've jumped to another meeting. Now you have the position and they want to listen to you. All right? It's step number 4. It's important, guys. You cannot skip this. Because if you skip this, imagine what will happen. They will call you out. At a step 5 or step 6, they will say to you that, oh, but you already have your 30 seconds. I want to hang up. Something will happen later. But if you call them out early at this stage when emotionally moved, they'll give you the permission and they will stick to what they say. Okay? Now go to the next one. Step 5, emotional amplifiers. Now this is what, like you said, if they already state their problem, they're aware they have the problem, and you can amplify more the pain points. Remember, you haven't even talked about yourself. You haven't talked about what you're selling here. Just talking about them. all the time. Talk about them. And this maybe take about another 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, some of the cases on my experience that they might take 50 minutes if they're very talkative and they share all the problems all day long, right? They have a lot of problems. You need to focus on one. So if they say, yeah, I have 3 of them, then you can say which one is the most resonant with you now. If you can just choose one, what is the recent problem that you have? They'll choose one. And you go with this. And you amplify it. You ask this question. All right, could you explain more? Can you give me an example? Remember, guys, this question is so literacy. When you have this sales meeting, you call them, you cannot have this word by word, okay? Do not do word by word. I see a lot of people mistakes. They do this with word by word. And they just say, oh, how do you feel about that? It's just too literacy, right? You need to change that question to be more realistic. And you can say, oh, wow, thank you for sharing that. I don't know, but if you have to guess, what do you think is the cost that has been going on for the business because of this problem? You see that? It's like you're not taking word by word, script by script, but you take some of the question that give them into reality, realistic question. You cannot just tell them by script, okay? Now you dig the pain, get into more deeper for 5 to 8 minutes, okay? They'll share all the problems, they get more connections to you. At this stage, you'll build more trust, you get deeper connection. Okay? Now here's the thing. Only from the step number 6, you are going to invite them. You're going to invite them. Okay? But not in the way that you invite them. So what do I mean by that? You want them to invite you for the meeting. So you can say, you know what, based on what you say and over the conversation that we have, I don't know if we can really fix this for you, but I have a lot of other companies like yours resolve these issues already. So let's just say if we can solve this situation and make it better, you can get better leads, you can upsell better. Is there any reason that you will not invite me to explore this further? So let's say about 45 minutes. You let them invite you. You let them invite you. What most typical salespeople do, they will say, can I have your time? Are you free tomorrow at 8, right? Pushing, that's what they do. Don't do that. Tell them the other way. I'm not really sure if we can fix this for you, but let's say if we can do something about it. Is there any reason that you will not invite me to that meeting? So you can explore if I can help you or not. It's different way. You still got the positioning, right? And then you ask what time, what calendar are you looking at, right? And you set an appointment from there. And the last step is just getting them fixed. Getting them fixed. Make sure you're on the same page. And you can say, I've been talking to all other people just like like you, and they basically didn't show up on the meeting, even though they invite me for the meeting, but for some reasons they're busy or they have any other reasons, but they not showing up on the meeting. But I feel that you're probably not that kind of person, are you? When you ask that, they will say, yes, I will show up on the meeting. That is your universe prevention. You can tell them about most people will not do it, but you will do it, right? They'll say yes to it because they love their words. Make sense? So recap, how to put it together. Now this is the 7th step, right? I know some of you probably are a little bit confused on this, but some of you are also getting very clear on this, and it's good. It depends on your experience, and let me know if this is still really confusing, because I'll answer the Q&A session. Just put your question on the Q&A, okay? Number one, you need to do pattern interrupt, right? Saying that, hey, these are sales calls. Do you want to hang up? Or maybe give me 30 seconds, and then you can decide. Number two, tell them about the trigger words. Most people that they having this symptom because they're afraid to talk to other people and they just don't know what to do. And some people, they fear to make the call and they just don't understand how that they can make results and appointments. And then you do the push, but maybe none of this apply to you, doesn't it? And say, yeah, and then you amplify that a little bit and says that, which one is it, right? And then permission. But I have already 30 seconds. So do you want me to hang up or want to continue a bit more in a couple minutes? They will say yes to it because there is emotional involved. And then you can say, can you give me more examples? Dig that better, right? Dig that pain deeper. Then you get to the invisible invitation. So I don't know if we can help you, but let's say if we can, and let's say if we can do something about it to improve your marketing budget, let's say blah, 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 right? Is there any reason that you will not invite me to the 45 minutes conversation so we can explore that? 80% of them, they will say yes to this. This is step number 6. Number 7, say, but you will not change your mind, right? You just talk to me, and tomorrow you will not send me an email and saying that I will cancel the meeting, don't you? So it's preventing them to cancel, preventing them to reschedule, preventing them to not showing up on the appointments. That will nail their words to it, and it will increase drastically your percentage to show up. Okay, how many of you are getting this? How many of you are getting this? Put 1 in the chat if you understanding this concept. Put 2 in the chat if you are overwhelmed. How many of you overwhelmed? By the way, overwhelmed is a good sign because you are uncomfortable and you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're being challenged. You get something new and you are practicing it. All right? Good, good, good. All right, all right. Let's keep the spirit up, okay? Because 95% of your investing decision, buying decision, and your prospect decision is all in subconscious mind. Okay? So keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. All right? Enjoying this so far? Put yes in the chat. If you are, put yes in the chat. Okay? If you're following me, if you're enjoying this, put yes in the chat. Are you getting value? Put yes in the chat if you do. If you say no, maybe you can stop right now. All right? That's totally fine. But I want to know, how are you right now? Okay? Do you want more value? Yes? Good? All right. Okay. You ready? Now here's the root question. Okay? How serious are you to make results for yourself? I give you the 7 step. Some of you will go out there and directly making some calls. Set up 1 appointment in a day. Tomorrow. Not next week. Not next month. Tomorrow. Or even now if you're morning time for you. For me, it's late night already. But if you are not going to do it, and you have 2 choices. Number 1, you can do it yourself. If you choose to do this, and that's why the name is sucks, right? Do it yourself. That means you're listening to your shadow self because you're not going to do it. How many of you have been following me, have been learning of this, but you haven't really do it? Be honest, you don't have to put in the chat, but you know. You have been learning something, but you haven't doing it yet. Till this time, couple weeks. Right? How many times that you need to pull up motivation to start doing it? You know the step already. You know the 7th step now. And that's what the step I use every time I do my call to make it happen. But you need to do it. You need to do it, right? But option 2 is do it together. Only people, this is what I think, only people who are really, really struggling to just make something, to just put on a table that they've damn broke, they don't know what to do, they will choose the option 1. Why? Because it's so costly. But if you want to do it together, you want to do it cheaper, easier, more enjoyable, more effective, we should do it together. And I feel this is the true self. Because if you being a lone wolf, you just do option number 1. You do it yourself. Okay? And this is exactly why. If you do it alone, you're struggling. Even though you know the knowledge, even though you know the step, but it will cost you more money, more effort, more fear, more energy, more unknown. And I feel I really need more than just 2 hours to really guide you on this. If we do it together, this is for you if you want to do it right. If you want to do it more enjoyable. Sharing wins together, make wins together, more effective in getting your review. Then I have an opportunity for us to do it together. With great pleasure, I announce to you Prospecting Mastery. This is the secrets of $3 million that I did in full control of sales without being dependent on marketing efforts. It's exactly those deeper breakdown of all those 7 steps in how I do it without any marketing efforts. I start with what? Google Maps.
Yeah.
Google Maps. So what is this?
Yeah.
This is the live 7-week sessions of how, step by step, the practical outreach implementation that is faster, easier, more enjoyable, not fearful, and how to get you new opportunities without stress, fear, or rejection. So what will you get? You get the 7 weeks. You can see all of this. I'll not go to detail about this, but you can see in the screen. The secrets of prospecting psychology, how to overcome fear and prevent it, how to finding your opportunities and getting clients, how to get yes, how to crush objections, how to follow up and unlimited leads, how to get full control over time. It's not 2 hours time, guys. It's going to be 7 weeks. It's talking about mindset belief, how to find opportunity, what is the skill exactly, and how you can adapt. See, like Emin. I don't know if Emin is here, but I don't think he's here. So what he said, he just made $2,500 in less than a month from $62 investment. So previously I have a small program that teaching people start doing some courses, $62, but it's not there anymore. And he said that it's good. So he gave me the gratitude and made the first client, $2,500. I think it was like five days ago. Yeah, 5 days ago in the group. You can find it there. So anytime when the opportunity doesn't present itself, you know your prospecting skills are just nice, the leverage for that, because you're not dependent on marketing anymore. You'll be able to take an action with absolute confidence, knowing that you'll make a value-based conversation and set appointments. This is the most important. You have full control on your clients and opportunities. So you can get them as a client and bring more revenue that most closers cannot do because they're afraid to do outbound. Imagine if you are going to the company and you say, give me all of your leads that almost dead, and I'll revive them and give you revenue from those. What do you feel that they will say to you? By the way, that's exactly what I did. You just don't know it. Some of you didn't know. I did it before. And that's how I get opportunities. Because you have the skills. Right? You can say that when you have the skills. But ironically, a lot of people, a lot of gurus, right? I can say them gurus, like they're teaching only about inbound closing in sales. This makes a big shift in the market because they feel inbound is the most important. But my 1-year-old son already started learning it, right? Because inbound is getting the people who are interested from outbound. So it's not the beginning and it's not the most important part in sales. Example, like some other gurus, right? They're selling high ticket door for 10,000 USD. NAPQ, 7,000 USD. Sales Academy, 2,500 USD. Is that a lot of money? Yeah, some of us have feeling that a lot of money, right? But here's the thing, it's not about the price tag. It's about what it can do for you. Do you want full control of your sales pipeline? Opportunities with confidence? Do you want to have confidence when making outbound calls? So it's easily, I can price my program, the 7 weeks prospecting mastery, for $1 million from the result what I see. Russell Brunson, 1 call close. Shakir Hussein from outbound, 1.3 million cash. I generated myself $3 million from outbound. How many of you want to be like Shakir? And you can choose who you want to target, doing the outbound, and make it happen. Something you cannot do with marketing, with ads, when you have hyper targeting upon your leads. You don't have to spend 4 years in university to getting sales degree. You don't have to spend 10,000 to getting the inbound skill of closing. You don't have to spend 7,000 to talk with the NAPQ for the inbound. You don't have to spend $2,500 for the sales academy. You only spend and invest $490. For the prospecting mastery closer certification. So you go to andreasbudiman.com/PMC. And here's my bonus. The first 5 people who join this will get one-on-one private coaching with me for 45 minutes. I type in the chat. Go to this link and join. That's the 7 weeks program. Who wants more? Who wants more? Put me in the chat. Put me in the chat if you want more. All right. Okay. All right. Good. Good. Now, here's the bonus. You get live feedback on your calls. And I'll teach you how you can record all your calls, even though you make that Google Maps calling from it, and I'll give you feedback from it. And this personalized feedback for the call that you submit. And you're struggling to make the calls, struggling to start, we will have the winners that will supporting you. That's bonus number 2. Community accountability in a private Facebook group only for my clients, for my students, that they invested in this. Okay? So bonus 1, the live feedback, coaching of your calls. Bonus 2, you get a private Facebook group only for prospecting mastery clients. Bonus number 3, you get the access to roleplay platform that will give you ability to roleplay in Discord with a safe environment without any risk. Now what we are going to roleplay? The prospecting. How can you reach out to other people without getting rejection and again? How can you practice this? When I getting started, when I call people from Google Maps, I didn't have this. But you will have this. You can practice how you speak, how your script look like. how to reach out to others, getting some feedback in this platform. So recap, bonus 1, you get the live feedback coaching, so you can improve it, you can measure it. Bonus 2, you get the Facebook group, accountability. And bonus 3, you get the role play platform. So you'll not wait until the end of the 7 weeks, but you can start role playing from week 1. On top of that, you also will get bonus 4, all the scripts, all the resources that I use personally. I'm still doing it right now with my calls to give you instant results. So recap, bonus 1, live feedback coaching. Bonus 2, private community, Facebook group. Bonus 3, role play platform. Bonus 4, my resources and scripts that you can use and adapt to your situation. If you're looking for opportunity or selling your own things, depends on you. And on top of that, bonus 5, you get email secrets. How many of you want to learn prospecting by email? How to do copywriting? How can you sell using copy by sending emails? And bonus 6, LinkedIn closing. How can you use LinkedIn? Like Amin just now, that getting 2,500, he just used it in LinkedIn, closing in LinkedIn, reaching out to DM in LinkedIn. On top of that, you get the certificate at the end of the week 7. So you can put your social profile and credibility and market it for 24/7. How many of you want to be here? Your name to be there. Put me in the chat. If you want it, put me in the chat. If you want it, if you want your name to be there, put me in the chat. This is your achievement when you're completing prospecting mastery. You can make your own opportunities, you can do your own inbound, and you can make things happen with your calls. So, in recap, you get all of these bonuses. You get the live coaching feedback from me. You can get the Facebook group. You get the role play platform. You get the scripts and resources. Bonus 5, you get the email secrets. Bonus 6, you get the LinkedIn mastery. You get bonus 7, the digital certificate as a closer. And bonus 8, lifetime recording. So you get all the workshop recording and the sessions that we do. It is 1 class per week for 7 weeks. Okay? When you go to andreasbudiman.com/PMC, and I'll drop it again, the link, and you can go there, find yourself a seat. The first 5, you'll get one-on-one coaching with me. Example like Belle. Start talking some calls today. The first day that she's taking some calls. And it's a confirmed appointment. So context, Belle was working with digital marketing agency and closing $5,000 deal. And she's the setter setting up that appointment. So she is getting that appointment and getting some win to set up that appointment. So in other words, I'm not asking you to decide yes or no today. I'm asking you to make a fully informed decision before you even decide yes or no. And the only way you can make a fully informed decision is on the inside, not the outside. Right? Like you want to see a real estate, you need to come in and see how exactly the house look like inside, not outside. Because assumption leads to failure. Right? So when you sign up for the Prospecting Mastery Closer Certification, whether it's 29 minutes or 29 days from now, if you want your money back, you can get it. You can get it. Because I will not take your money if you're not happy. You will not see value, I don't want to take your money. If you're not getting result, I'll not get your money. If you want your money back, you can take it. 29 minutes from now, 29 days from now, you can take it if you're not happy. You have 2 guarantees. The first one that I mentioned, if you don't like it, I'll return it, every pennies that you invested on it. In 90 days, If you then make twice of your investment after you being fully committed as required, I will personally working with you to make twice what you invested. So you invested 490, I'll make sure you can make at least 900. That's my promise. In the 90-day, if you do the work, if you take action, if you fully attending, if you fully do the personal homework. Someone asked what happens if we don't have nothing to sell. If you don't have anything to sell, you can do prospecting to get opportunities. You can reach out to influencers. You can reach out to companies to get a job, to being hired. And that's the only way you can be impossible to fail, by taking action inside of it. If you start a class, you know about the action that you need to take, then only you can start getting result. If you're only learning, you can do it all day long, but you will not get the result. If you're only learning without taking the action and do the homework, if you're not listening, if you're not coachable, you will not make it, right? And this is what it looks like. When you've been committed as required, you fully attend all the classes 80% and complete all the recordings 100%. You do whatever it takes, right? And daily consistent action calls messages as agreed for 90 days. And fully implementing what I teach, my feedback consistently, actively showing up in a group every week, sending me recordings for the feedback for the recording coaching. If you do all of this in 90 days, you haven't made twice of 490, then I will work with you personally to make it happen. Okay? And this is the reason. The reason why you want it so bad is because you're considering it so hard right now. True or true? Do you feel it? You're considering it so hard because you want it so bad. And regardless your decision is, when you sign up at andreasbudiman.com/PMC, you will see how big that change, how big that transformation will be. Example, like Maurice, he's sharing about small wins. He go on a call with 2 cold clients and try to apply the things from Joel, me, and Kay, and really made sure to go deep, play deaf, and ask many times, and able to commit both less than an hour. Isn't that crazy? Just make 2 calls in 1 hour, get a commitment. Okay, how many of you following so far? How many is still following me? Put yes in the chat. We still continue the class. Put yes in the chat. If you're still following me, put yes in the chat. Give me emoji. Give me thumbs up. All right, let's go. Let's go. So this is the 5 deadliest shadow self that preventing you from making result in prospecting. Okay? And this is exactly how that you can get better. By the way, well done, Carla. Well done, Mohammed. Action takers are money makers. That's exactly it, right? Congratulations. This is the one step when you can implement in a safe environment. Imagine if you just go out there and start making calls without getting direction. This is what happened with the shadow self. The 5 deadliest that you need to be aware. Okay? First one is hesitation. When you hesitate, make calls, there's the fear taking over. And you cannot do anything about it. Second is inaction. It implication of the fear. When you're not doing any action, you will get blinded. When you're blinded, you will not take more action. And that's exactly where the fear comes in. It will make you a self-doubt. By the way, this is all in the subconscious mind. All these things are happening in split seconds without you realizing it. Do you agree? Do you agree? This is something that's happening so sudden. You cannot really control this. this subconscious thing unless you practice it over and over again in your mind. If you already being in your subconscious, in that self-image, can only realize this. But here's one thing that you can control. It's the comfort. It's the comfort. What does it mean? Comfort is the only awareness, is the situation where you know that you are having this all. Make sense? When you have hesitation inside of you, when you don't take action, when you fear, when you self-doubt, all of this is because you start to feel uncomfortable. You're getting out of that comfort zone. And that takes you bandwidth to take action, to overcome fear, to overcome hesitation, to overcome self-doubt, because it is outside of that comfort zone. How to realize it is to know if you're getting too comfortable, meaning that you are not going to overcome this. When I wake up in the morning, the first promise that I make to myself is how can I be uncomfortable to start my day? Because I know when I stay in the comfort zone, all this hidden shadow self will take over you without you know it. And it's so uncomfortable to get out of it. But when you practice it with your subconscious, and I'll teach you how. Before you go to bed, take a piece of paper, a blank note of paper. Don't take digital things like phone or notebook. Don't take something like things that you can type. No. Put a blank of paper. Use your kinetic state, which is you write down things. Write down this uncomfortable situation. This hesitation, this inaction, this self-doubt, this fear, this false belief, all the shadow self that you feel, write it down. When you're feeling sleepy before you go to bed, right? At the end of your work, you write it down for like 5 to 10 minutes. Then meditate for like 2 to 3 minutes. And just say, I want to get out of this state. I want to overcome this comfort zone. I want to change to something better. You tell your subconscious before you go to sleep. Then, when you wake up in the morning, in the early morning when you wake up, I don't know what time you wake up, but when you wake up, tell yourself that I overcome this. Even though maybe you haven't. Remember, put the state of I am instead of I will. Make sense? When you are telling yourself, I'm taking action, not I will take action, you say I'm taking action. You already take action. You overcome that already. But when you say I will, I'm going to, you procrastinate subconsciously. Telling yourself when you wake in the morning that I am overcoming this. I already overcome this. Do that for 90 days. Reprogram your subconscious mind by telling yourself, I'm getting out of this comfort zone. I'm understanding my fear. I'm having my inaction, overcoming my self-doubt. Do it consistently. Okay, so homework. First homework, get out of that fear inside your head and put down into paper. You need to write it down. You cannot just think about it and do nothing. Write it down, let it out in your subconscious state. Before you go to sleep and you wake up, is the nearest state into your theta state. So that's when you can connect with your subconscious. So do that. Do that and tell me if in 1 week you cannot get out of this comfort zone by keep doing that, tell me. I'll help you. But even just 1 week, you will see the difference. You will see the difference. It's how you overcome this 5 deadliest shadow self. Make sense? Do that. Do that. Put yes in the chat if you're going to do it. Put yes in the chat. You promise yourself that you will do it. Okay? Good. Now, this is shadow self. If it's talking to you that, oh, it's too expensive, I cannot afford it. And you can, by the way, you can do this exactly to your prospect. You can do this exactly when you make prospecting call, and you can overcome this shadow self in their mind. Okay? What the true self will say, it has to be expensive. Will you trust me and really do the work if it's just $9? If it's just free? If you can easily afford it, most likely you will not see result because you will not commit to it. How many of you know what I'm saying? Put me in the chat if you know how to do this. When someone says, it's so expensive, I cannot afford it, you should have that feeling. Because you will struggle. You are wanting it more. And the more that you want it, the more likely you will see results. I just tell you a personal story. 2 years ago, I bought one PC, which is what I'm using right now. And it cost me about 8,000 USD. 8,000 USD 2 years ago. And it was like uncomfortable for me because I spent something that outside my comfort zone. And it's expensive. And it's not easily that I can afford it. It's custom built. It is imported. And then the builder was one of the famous one here. So it's not easy for me to get this. And I feel it's very expensive. But the more it is, the more that I know I will make result because I'm committed to it. If you buy something that is outside your comfort zone, you will feel good about it. You will love it. Imagine if you invest in a car or like real estate and you buy for like $1 million USD, you will take care of it every day. You look into it every day, right? Compared to if you get it for free. You will not love it as much as you do. Right? Again, another shadow self. They say, I don't have the money. What do you say? It's not about the money. Your true self will say, money is only a number on the paper. It's about the freedom that you want. It's about the financial stability you need. It's about the happiness in your family. It's example, in my case, which one do you prefer? Keep the 490 or your dreams? It's the true self. It's not talking about the money. And that is true. In any reasons, if you think about it, you don't want to get money. You want to get something behind that money. Is that for your wife? Is that for your family? Is that the financial stability? Is that the time freedom? So what will you do about it? That is the most important part in buying, in investing. All right? Again, if other prospect says that I will sign up for that when I have the money, well, your true self will say, I'll be resourceful enough to sign up so I'll have more money. Because the reason why you don't have the money is you need to change that situation. If you have too much money, you need even to invest on something because the money itself will not making you more money. But if you don't have the money, then you need to change the state so you will have more money. Because if you don't have too much money, maybe you don't need it anymore, right? You're already comfortable with everything. And it's harder even to get to the upper level. But if you don't have the money, it's a good sign that you need to be resourceful so you can come up with the money. Then only you will love it enough to take action and make it work. I know this from the bottom of my heart when I buy an item for $20 compared to if I buy an item for $2,000, even though it's the same item. Do you know the wine test? Have you ever heard? You can go Google after this session about wine test, wine blindfold test. So there's a research, right? They put some participants on the wine test and they blindfolded, they cannot see the wine. And one participant, right, they put 3 bottles in front of them. 2 of them are just cheaper wine, and one is so expensive, 10 times of the price of the other 2. That's what the person tell the blindfolded guy. And the blindfolded guy select one that is more expensive because it tastes better. It looks better. It's not looks better, but he feels better when drinking it, right? But then after he opened the blindfold, it's all the same wine. But he feels better because he just told that the third wine is more expensive. Can you see the psychology? That's what money does. When you are talking to your prospect and your prospect says, well, that's very good, but I don't have the money, then you know how to handle it. Because you have the conviction of what you're selling, of what you're closing. It makes money to other people. Make sense? If they just ignore it, then your conviction is not high enough. Then you don't even know if they can make money or not from it. But when you have that full conviction, they will know. They will benefit from it. Again, next one. I don't have the time. So let's say this example, my case, right? If you commit to 7 weeks, because I'm very busy with my stuff already. What the true self will say, everyone has the same amount of time, right? It's about the priority. So is that freedom, that financial stability, is that family happiness are something important to you? Or that being other busy stuff get you there right now? If not, then you should change something, right? Because currently, obviously, what you are doing right now haven't get to where you want. That's why you need to change the priority a little bit here and there, right? Don't sacrifice too big of the priority, like you cannot put food on the table, but change the priority a little bit so you can change your situation, so you can get that what you want, that freedom, that financial stability, that family happiness that you want, right? How far is that being busy that's serving you, right? Again, next one. If I will do it myself first and see how it goes, right? And your true self will say, you can do that by yourself, right? And costing time and money. Or we can do it together, investing in money, but save the time. Because time is not renewable. We can make more money back. We cannot make time back. And chances are, if you try and error yourself, more chance to fail is higher. That even costing more money. It's called opportunity cost. But time is something that cannot be renewed. So it's much more expensive than losing the money. It's the second way to do it, right? You can say, if you can do it yourself, and you're already there, not here now, then you can do it already, and you don't need this, because you can do it already. And it's exactly what I said to my mentor and what he said to me. And it's totally true. If I can do what I want to do by myself, then I'm not here right now. I don't need to learn about this thing if I can already do it. Right? The only reason why I need it because I want to do it. I need to know how to do it. And some people said to me like, I will just learn it myself first. When I make it, and I'll come back and join this. And I'm saying to them that you will not join this because you already make it. Why you need to come back and join this? Chances are you will not. Right? And it's exactly the same. When you say, it sounds like so much work, like prospecting, making calls, right? How can I make time for 7 weeks and make consistent daily action? Simple, I give you the key. And this is what I do in the beginning, early stage when I was in Singapore back then. This is what I do. List down the top 5 activities that you do daily or weekly, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, write it down. Don't keep it on your head. Write it down on a piece of blank paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then replace the 5 with the learning. Replace the 5 with your new habit that you want to create opportunity. Okay? Do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and change the 5 with this. And you'll make the time. Okay? That's how you do it. Again, this Emin just now, we already seen it. And this is another question, right? Can I wait for next week or next month? Yes, you can. But here is the caveat. The class will start 11 November. But potentially, it will cost you more and you lose some bonuses. Because next week, I'll increase the price. I feel it's just too low. Okay? So, there's another people in a group you can